The bill I'm about to sign is not just about today, it's about tomorrow. It's about delivering progress and prosperity to American families. It's about showing the American and the American people that democracy still works in America, notwithstanding all the talk of its demise. Not just for the privileged few, but for all of us. You know, I swore an oath of office to you and to God to faithfully execute the duties of this sacred office. To me, the critical duty of the president is to defend what is best about America. And that's not hyperbole. Defend what's best about America, to pursue justice, to ensure fairness, deliver results that create possibilities that all of us can live a life of consequence and prosperity in a nation that's safe and secure. That's the job.
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. Welcome to day 574. The Lower Colorado River Basin crossed an unprecedented water shortage threshold that will require mandatory water cuts. The Bureau of Reclamation declared a Tier 2 water shortage, which will reduce the amount of water that Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico can draw from the Colorado River starting in 2023 by 21%, 8%, and 7% respectively. It marks the second year in a row that Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico will face water cuts, and the Bureau called for water conservation measures through the year 2026 in all 7 states within the Colorado River Basin. The historic drought has drained about 3/4 of the water from Lakes Powell and Meade, threatening their ability to generate hydropower. Meanwhile, Joe Biden signed the Democrats' landmark climate change, healthcare, and tax bill into law. The Inflation Reduction Act will invest $370 billion into combating climate change and bolstering low-emission forms of energy, while raising about $700 billion through corporate tax increases, prescription drug savings, and increased tax evasion enforcement. Quote, "This is the biggest step forward on climate ever," Biden said. The bill, which represents America's largest investment in fighting climate change, will help the United States cut greenhouse gas emissions by an estimated 40% below 2005 levels by the year 2030. The package, however, falls short of the $3.5 trillion package Biden initially laid out, with safety net items stripped out by Joe Manchin and tax increases blocked by Kyrsten Sinema. At one point during the signing ceremony, Biden glanced over at Joe Manchin and quipped, quote, "Joe, I never had a doubt," end quote. The Biden administration will also cancel all remaining federal student loan debt for 208,000 students who attended the now-defunct for-profit ITT Technical Institute. The $3.9 billion in relief brings the total amount of loan discharges approved under Biden to nearly $32 billion. The Department of Education found that ITT Tech engaged in widespread and pervasive misrepresentations, recruitment tactics, lending practices, and job placement figures. In D.C., First Lady Jill Biden tested positive for COVID-19 and is experiencing mild symptoms and was prescribed a course of Paxlovid. Moving on, the DOJ objected to the release of the affidavit used to justify the FBI search of Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago, saying its release would serve as a roadmap to the government's ongoing investigation, compromise future investigative steps, and likely chill cooperation with witnesses. Quote, "The fact that this investigation implicates highly classified materials further underscores the need to protect the integrity of the investigation and exacerbates the potential for harm if information is disclosed to the public prematurely or improperly," end quote. This according to a statement from DOJ officials in response to a request by media organizations to unseal the supporting affidavit. The Justice Department, however, said it does intend to unseal less sensitive information associated with the warrant. A federal judge in Florida will hear arguments Thursday over whether to make the affidavit public. Meanwhile, the FBI interviewed Trump's White House counsel and his deputy counsel about the classified documents stored at Mar-a-Lago. Pat Cipollone and Patrick Philbin are the most senior former Trump officials to be interviewed in the criminal investigation of possible mishandling of classified information and obstruction of justice. The two men were designated as Trump's representatives to handle material requested by the National Archives under the Presidential Records Act. And finally, the Trump Organization's longtime chief financial officer is in talks with Manhattan prosecutors to plead guilty to more than a dozen tax fraud counts. Alan Weisselberg, however, will not cooperate with the district attorney's investigation into Trump. Weisselberg and the Trump Organization were charged as part of an off-the-books scheme over 15 years to help top officials in the Trump Organization avoid paying their taxes. Weisselberg is expected to be sentenced to 5 months in jail as part of the plea. He was facing up to 15 years in prison if convicted at a trial. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditas.
Joe, I never had a doubt. Joe had an operation on his shoulder. I just want you to know it wasn't because of anything we did. He's in great shape.